Module 8, Training Non-Certified Renovation Workers. The RRP rule requires that you, the certified renovator, be responsible for instruction of non-certified renovation workers. Note that the non-certified workers must be trained only on the RRP rule required work practices that the workers will be using in performing their assigned tasks. For example, if a worker is hired to only provide cleanup services, that worker would not need to be trained on how to set up a work area. Teaching lead-safe work practices means training workers to properly use signs, dust barriers, dust minimizing work practices, and dust cleanup practices during the course of renovation, repair, and painting activities to prevent and/or reduce potentially dangerous dust lead contamination in the home. Remember all the skills you mastered during the skill set exercises? You will be teaching non-certified workers to master them. The shopping list in Steps to Lead-Safe Renovation, Repair, and Painting, also found in the back of your book, detail all of the equipment and supplies you may need to conduct hands-on exercises during the on-the-job training of non-certified renovators. All that follows is presented to aid you to conduct the training. The role of the certified renovator. What are the responsibilities of a certified renovator? Certified renovators are responsible for ensuring overall compliance with renovation, repair, and painting requirements for lead-safe work practices at renovations to which they're assigned. A certified renovator must use an EPA-recognized test kit or alternative collect a paint chip sample for analysis when requested by the party contracting for renovation services to determine whether components to be affected by the renovation contain lead-based paint. Certified renovator must provide lead-safe work practices training to non-certified workers so those workers can perform assigned tasks safely. This training can be provided by the certified renovator on the job or in the classroom, provided adequate hands-on practice is available. This training could also be conducted by a third party, although the instructor must be a certified renovator. A certified renovator must be physically present at the work site when warning signs are posted, while work area containment is being established, and while the work area cleaning is being performed. A certified renovator must monitor work being performed by non-certified individuals to ensure that the lead-safe work practices are being followed. This includes maintaining the integrity of the containment barriers and ensuring that no dust or debris migrates from other work areas. A certified renovator must be available either on site or by telephone at all times during performance of the renovation. A certified renovator must perform project cleaning verification. A certified renovator must have copies of their initial course completion certificate and their most recent refresher course completion certificate at the work site. Certification as a certified renovator lasts for 5 years. The completion certificate at the work site should also reflect an active certificate. Certified renovators must take a refresher course every 5 years in order to maintain certification. A certified renovator must prepare required records. Role of trained, non-certified renovation workers. On-the-job training must be provided for each worker and for each job to the extent that each worker is adequately trained for the task he or she will be performing. This training may occur while the worker is engaged in productive work, which provides knowledge and skills essential to the full and adequate performance of the job. However, work conducted during training must be in full compliance with the RRP rule. Trainees will benefit by seeing the steps to lead safety found in Steps to Lead Safe Renovation, Repair, and Painting in Appendix 5. It contains a 7-step primer on lead safety and can be used as a field text to hand out to non-certified worker trainees in the field. In the STEPS guide, steps 2 through 6 contain information specific to work performed by non-certified personnel, while step 1 and step 7 contain information on testing painted surfaces and cleaning verification, which are certified renovator responsibilities. Step 7 also discusses clearance examination, which is performed only by a certified lead inspector, certified lead risk assessor, and certified dust sampling technician. The information in the STEPS guide can be covered in about 5 minutes per step and then reinforced by an on-the-job practical exercise such as setting up barriers and signs, demonstrations of cleaning procedures, etc. It is recommended that the material in the STEPS guide be covered in a toolbox, on-site meeting format with handouts on the specific information to be covered. It is very important that non-certified personnel be allowed to participate in hands-on learning as work progresses, and that skill set that are learned by each student are documented. Documentation is required by the RRP rule to assure that non-certified workers are trained to perform renovation activities to which they are assigned. Remember that the RRP rule requires all non-certified personnel on the job to be given skills training specific to the task that they will perform on the job, and that each person's training must be documented by topic area covered on the job training that is performed. The required documentation will be discussed more in detail later. Steps for teaching lead safety during renovations. Training for non-certified renovation workers can be delivered in one session covering all 7 steps, or all information can be covered in a series of toolbox meetings over the course of several days. You should spend about 5 to 10 minutes on the information contained in each step, and then conduct on-the-job training to teach the skills needed to renovate lead safely. If this training is offered in the classroom, slides 8-6 through 8-15 could be used to teach the material found in the steps to lead-safe renovation, repair, and painting. This document is included as Appendix 5 of your student manual. Use the steps to lead-safe renovation, repair, and painting as a student handout for training non-certified renovation workers. The handout should also include write-ups of demonstrations and practical hands-on exercises, and a checklist of desired skills to reinforce the toolbox talks or classroom training. Use the STEPS guide. Steps to lead-safe renovation, repair, and painting covers basic lead-safe practices and can be used as a training guide outside of the classroom in conjunction with on-the-job demonstrations and hands-on training. It is strongly recommended that you use this guide as a basis for training. Print copies of Steps to Lead-Safe Renovation, Repair, and Painting, and give 1 copy to each non-certified renovator trainee. Step 1. Determine if the job involves lead-based paint. During training, review the information on this slide with non-certified renovator students as they follow along on pages 4 and 5 of the steps to lead-safe renovation, repair, and painting. Notes on the job instructor. This information is included in the on-the-job training so non-certified renovators will understand why they need to use lead-safe work practices. Non-certified renovators are not allowed to determine whether lead-based paint is present, but they should understand that when it is identified as present, generating dust can cause significant problems if not properly and safely controlled. Step 2. Set it up safely. What to do. To keep the dust in and people out of your work area, you will need to take a slightly different step for the inside and outside jobs. For inside jobs, place signs, barrier tape, and/or cones to keep all non-workers, especially children, out of the work area. Keep pets out of the work area for their safety and to prevent them from tracking dust and debris throughout the home. Remove furniture and belongings from the work area. If an item is too large or too heavy to move, cover it with plastic sheathing and tape the sheathing securely in place. Use heavy plastic sheathing to cover floors in the work area to a minimum of 6 feet from the work area that you're disturbing. Close and seal doors. Close windows. Close and cover air vents in the work area. This will keep dust from getting into the system and moving throughout the home. For outside jobs, keep non-workers away from the work area by making signs and taping them to cones in the perimeter. Owner must keep pets out of the work area. Cover the ground and plants with heavy plastic sheathing to catch debris. The covering should extend at least 10 feet out from the building unless a property line prevents 10 feet of such ground coverage, in which case the firm must erect a vertical containment. Secure the covering to the exterior. For outside jobs, keep non-workers away from the work area by marking it off with signs, tape, and/or cones. Have owner keep pets out of the work area. Cover the ground and plants with heavy plastic sheathing to catch debris. The covering should extend at least 10 feet out from the building unless a property line prevents the 10 feet of such ground cover, in which case the firm must erect a vertical containment. Secure the covering to the exterior. Close windows and doors within 20 feet of the work area to keep dust and debris from going into the home. Move, if possible, or cover play areas and equipment within 20 feet of a work area. Step 3. Protect yourself. Wear protective clothing. Protective clothing and shoe covers are very important in preventing take-home lead and to prevent you from tracking lead out of the work area. They can also help prevent contamination of areas that have already been cleaned during the final cleanup. Keep clothes clean. At the end of the workday, vacuum off or change out of dusty clothing. Do not use compressed air to blow dust off your clothing. Wash dirty work clothes separately from household laundry. Wear a painter's hat to protect your head from dust and debris. Wear respiratory protection. When work creates dust or paint chips, employers should consider respiratory protection, such as the N100, the R100, the P100 disposable respirator, to prevent workers from breathing leaded dust. Post warning signs. Post a warning sign at each work area entrance. Signs should read, "Warning, lead work area, poison, no smoking or eating," to remind workers that eating, drinking, and smoking in the work area is prohibited. Wash up. Workers should wash their hands and faces each time they stop work. It is especially important to wash up before eating and at the end of the day. Note: OSHA rules may require employers to take further steps to protect the health of workers on the job. Step 4. Control the spread of dust. Keep the work area closed off from the rest of the home. Don't track dust and debris out of the work area. Stay in the contained work area and on the contained paths. Vacuum off suits when exiting the work area so the dust stays inside containment. Remove disposable shoe covers and make sure your shoes are clean by using tack pads or damp paper towels to wipe off your shoes each time you step off the protective sheathing. Keep components in the work area until they are wrapped securely in heavy plastic sheathing or bagged in a heavy-duty plastic bag. Once wrapped or bagged, HEPA vacuum the exterior and remove them from the work area and store them in a safe area away from residents. Launder non-disposable protective clothing separate from family laundry. Do not use prohibited practices, including open flame burning or high heat removal of paint, and power tools such as sanders without HEPA vacuum attachments. HUD note: the HUD rule also prohibits extensive dry scraping and sanding by hand, use of heat guns that char paint, and paint stripping in poorly ventilated space using a volatile paint stripper. States, localities, or tribes may prohibit additional work practices. Step 5. Leave the work area clean. On a daily basis, pick up the work area. Pick up as you go. Put trash in a heavy-duty plastic bag. Vacuum the work area with a HEPA vacuum several times during the day and for sure at the end of the day. Do not clean with standard household or shop vacuum cleaners. Use only HEPA vacuums. Clean tools at the end of the day. Wash your hands each time you leave the work area and especially well before you go home. Dispose of all disposable personal protective clothing daily. When the job is complete, clean the work area. This is required. Make sure all paint chips, dust, trash, and debris, including building components, are removed from the area to be cleaned and disposed of properly. Carefully remove plastic sheathing on the floor. Fold it with the dirty side in. Tape the edges shut or seal it in a heavy-duty plastic bag and dispose of it. Keep plastic sheathing in doorways and openings that separate the work area from non-work areas in place until the work area is released as clean. HEPA vacuum or wet wipe all wall surfaces. HEPA vacuum all other surfaces in the work area. Use a beater bar attachment on carpets. Wet wipe all remaining surfaces in the work area and wet mop all uncarpeted floors until dust, debris, and residue are removed. Visually inspect your work. Look around the work area and 2 feet beyond and on paths that lead where possible debris was carried. You should see no dust, debris, or residue. Re-clean the area thoroughly if you find dust, debris, or residue. Step 6. Control the waste. Bag or wrap your waste at the work site and in the work area. Collect and control all your waste. This includes dust, debris, paint chips, protective sheathing, HEPA vacuum filters, dirty water, clothing, mop heads, wipes, protective clothing, respirators, gloves, architectural components, and other waste. Use heavy plastic sheathing or bags to collect the waste. Gooseneck seal the bag with duct tape. Consider double bagging waste to prevent tears. Large components should be wrapped in protective sheathing and sealed with tape. Bag and seal all waste before removing it from the work area. HEPA vacuum the exterior of the waste bags and bundles before removing them from the work area. Store all waste that has been collected from renovation activities, preventing access to and release of dust and debris. Dispose of wastewater appropriately. Water used in the work area to remove paint or to clean surfaces should be filtered through a 5-micron filter. Never dump this water down a sink or tub, in a storm drain, or on the ground. It may be dumped into a toilet if local rules allow. If local regulations do not allow this, you may be required to contain and test the water and contact the waste disposal company to assist you with disposal. Check with your local water treatment authority and in federal and state regulations for more information. Be aware of waste disposal rules. EPA considers most residential renovations, repair and painting activities routine residential maintenance. The waste generated by these activities is classified as solid, non-hazardous waste and can be disposed of as ordinary waste landfill. Some states and localities may have more stringent waste disposal requirements that must be followed. Step 7. Cleaning verification or cleaning testing. Step 7. Cleaning verification or clearance testing. When all the cleaning is complete and before the space is reoccupied, a cleaning verification procedure or clearance examination must be conducted to make sure leaded dust is not left behind. If the HUD rule applies, a clearance examination is required in place of the cleaning verification procedure. The first step to both cleaning verification and a clearance examination is a visual inspection of the work area to determine if dust, debris, or residue was left behind. If dust, debris, or residue are present in the work area, cleaning must be repeated and the visual to a minimum of 6 feet from the work area that you're disturbing. Close and seal doors. Close windows. Close and cover air vents in the work area. This will keep dust from getting into the system and moving throughout the home. For outside jobs, keep non-workers away from the work area by making signs and taping them to cones in the perimeter. Owner must keep pets out of the work area. Cover the ground and plants with heavy plastic sheathing to catch debris. The covering should extend at least 10 feet out from the building unless a property line prevents 10 feet of such ground coverage, in which case the firm must erect a vertical containment. Secure the covering to the exterior siding. Step 7. Cleaning verification or clearance testing. When all the cleaning is complete and before the space is reoccupied, a cleaning verification procedure or clearance examination must be conducted to make sure leaded dust is not left behind. If the HUD rule applies, a clearance examination is required in place of the cleaning verification procedure. The first step to both cleaning verification and a clearance examination is a visual inspection of the work area to determine if dust, debris, or residue was left behind. If dust, debris, or residue are present in the work area, cleaning must be repeated and the visual inspection repeated until the work area is free of dust, debris, and residue. Once the visual inspection by the certified renovator is complete, either the cleaning verification procedure, or clearance examination can proceed. Training documentation. The certified renovator assigned to the job must maintain the following records for on-the-job training. When you give this toolbox training, use of a training guide such as steps to lead-safe renovation, repair, and painting will make documentation easier. You should keep a copy of the training guide used at the toolbox training you conduct on site. Make a list of each lead-safe practical skill covered for each individual non-certified worker. A list of the practical skills taught to each non-certified worker with the materials covered in the toolbox meeting will provide adequate documentation to meet the RRP rule. All training documentation must be kept for 3 years following the completion of any renovation. Now you know. Now you know that certified renovators are responsible for training non-certified renovation workers. Now you know the roles of certified renovators and train non-certified workers during a renovation. Now you know how to use the steps to lead-safe renovation, repair, and painting to train non-certified renovation workers.